Dear student, I am sorry for the disturbance that took place because there was a constant call from someone with whom I did have no business, and yet he was constantly making a call. I had to pick his phone. As smooth as it was, as smooth as it was, Nee was there, switch another partner, and then the poet is making a comparison and he says that I have not found the partner who did have such a skill in his business as the present partner had. For in his mail he had a pillow bear, and in his pouch he had a pillowcase. Now look at the things with which the partner is associated. For in his pouch he had a pillowcase, which that he said was our lady veil, and about which he would say that this was the veil of the lady. He said he had a goblet of the sail. He said that he had a piece of the sail also. He did have a piece of the sail that Saint Peter had when that he went, and it was the same sail that the Saint Peter had when he went upon the sea. Means when he went to the sea, this was the same sail that this gentleman, that Saint Peter had. When he went upon the sea till Jesus Christ him went upon the sea when he went until Jesus Christ took him. He had a cruise of latoon full of stones. He had a cross of laton, means brass like alloy. Laton means brass like alloy, covered, and in a glass. And in a glass he had pig's bones, and in a glass container he used to carry the bones of the pig. But with these relics, when he found, but with these relics means the pig bones and all the other things, when he found a poor person dwelling upon land, when he would found that there was a poor person dwelling in the countryside, upon a day he got him more money. What he would do, in one day he got himself more money, so that than that the person get in months too. Means now he's making a comparison of this gentleman with the person, and he says that unlike the poor person, he would earn the money that the poor person would earn in 2 months. This man would earn that much money in a single day. And that speaks of the dishonesty of this partner. A poor person dwelling upon land, upon a day he get him more money than that the person get in months too, and thus with feigned flattery and jibes, and thus with feigned flattery and tricks he made the person and the people his apes, and this is how he would befool the person and the other people. Means he would make a lot of money by saying that if they succeed in buying the pardons, they would be able to reach the heaven by buying these pardons, and every money, even a single coin that the person would pay, would go into his wallet, would add to his money. He made fools of the person and the people, but truly to tell at the last, he was in church a noble ecclesiast. The poet says, let me tell you in the last that he was in church a noble person. Well could he read, well could he read elation or a story. He very well knew how to read elation or a story, but elder best he sung an offertory. But best of all, what he would do, he would sing an offertory. Offertory means the prayer. For well he best when that song was sung, for he knew well when that song was to be sung. He most preach and well affile his tongue. He would preach and will smoothen his speech. Means he will speak in a soft voice to win silver as he full well could. And why he would do it? He would do it to win silver from the people, as he very well knew how to win that he could do by speaking in a very soft sound. Therefore, he sung the merrily and loud. And therefore, how he will do? He will sing a song very merrily and loudly. Now have I told you soothly in a close. Now the poet says that he has talked about everything, every character who was the part of the pilgrimage briefly, the state, the array, the number, and eke the cause. He says, I have talked about their ranking, I have talked about their rank, and when he's talking about the rank, he's talking about that I have presented a cross section society in the portrait or in the prologue. The array means I have talked about their apparels, I have talked about their dress. The number means I have talked about their number also, how many they were, and eke the cause. And I have also talked about the cause for which they have they had gathered at the Tabardin. Why that assembled was this company. I have talked about the region also. Why this company has assembled at the at the Tabardin in Southwark at this gentle hostelry. That night the tabard fast by the bell, and the poet is talking about that all of them have gathered in the tabard inn, close by the bell. Where this tabard inn is? Now, this tabard inn is very close to the town bell. But now is time to you for to tell. But now the poet says, it is time to tell you how that we barren, how that we barren us that like night, how we conducted ourselves that same night when we were in that hostelry alight. He says, now let me tell you how we conducted ourselves the same night when we were in that hostelry, means we were when we were in that company. And after all, I tell of our bias, and after that he says that I will tell you of our journey. Now the poet is in the form of the narrator also, and all the remnant of our pilgrimage. And then he says, I will be talking about the rest of our pilgrimage also then. But first I pray you of your courtesy. But then he says, I first pray you of your courtesy, that ye not arrate it not my villainy. He says that you do not attribute it to my rudeness or villainy, though that I plainly speak in this matter. Though I have spoken very plainly in this matter, to tell you higher words and higher cheer, to tell you the words of the pilgrims and about their behavior. I have spoken very plainly about their deeds and their sayings. Neither I spoke her words properly, but even then, look at the humility of the narrator. And the narrator says that maybe that sometimes I might not have spoken accurately about these characters. I might not have spoken accurately about these characters. For this, ye knowing all so well as I. For this, you know as well as I, who shall tell a tale after a man. Whoever must repeat a story after someone, he moot rehearse as near as ever he can. He must repeat as closely as ever he knows how. Average a word, if it be in his charge, every single word, if it be in his power. All spake he, never so rudely and large, although he may speak ever rudely and freely, or else he moot tell his tale untrue, or else he must tell his tale inaccurately, or feign thing, or find words new, or make up things, or find new words. He may not spare, although he were his brother. He may not refrain from telling the truth, although he could have been, although he might have been his brother. He says that I have been very impartial and fair in narrating the deeds and sayings of these pilgrims. He would not spare, even if the even if the pilgrim had been his own brother. He would tell about those people very fairly and very plainly. He moved as well see or word as another. Now he says he must as well say one word as another. Christ himself spoke very plainly in Holy Writ because Christ has also spoken very plainly in the Holy Writ, and well ye would no villainy is it. And you know well it is no rudeness because when you speak plainly, it is not rudeness either. Eke Plato saith, whoso can him write, and Plato also says, whosoever knows how to read him, the words must be, the words moot be cousin to the deed. That is, the words must be closely related to the deed. Means whatever you are saying, that you must mean the same thing. Also, I pray you to forgive it me. And then he says, I also pray you to forgive me. Why forgive me? All all have I not set folk in her degree. Because he says, although I have not set folk in order of their rank, means I might have committed a mistake in giving them a proper ranking here in this tale as that they should stand. In this tale, I might not have given them the proper ranking as they should stand. My wit is short, ye may well understand. Because as you understand, my wit is very short, you well understand it. Great cheer made our host us every chone. Our host made great hospitality to every one of us, and to the supper sat he us anon, and he and to the supper he sat us straight away. He served us with vital at the best. He served all of us with the victuals to the best of his capabilities. Strong was the wine, and well to drink us list. The wine was very strong, and it well pleased us to drink the wine. A seemly our host was withal, and then the poet is talking about that our host was very simple, but an impressive man indeed. He would make all arrangements for us for to being, for to being a marshal in an hall, for he was a master of the ceremonies in a hall. A large man he was with eyne steep. He was a large man with steep eyes, with prominent eyes. A fairer burgess was the known in chief. And then he says that there was no better businessman than him in that area. Bold of his speech and wise and well he taught. He was bold of his speech and wide and well mannered also. And of manhood him lacked right not, and he lacked nothing at all of the qualities which are supposed to be the qualities of a good man. Means he did have all the qualities of a good person. Ekta too, he was right a merry man. And then the poet says that moreover he was a right merry man. And after supper play he began, and after the supper he began to be merry. And how he began to be merry? By telling everyone. And what he said, and he spoke of mirth among other things, and he spoke of mirth means happiness among all the other things. When that we had made our reckonings, after that we had paid our bills, he spoke to us. And what he spoke to us, and said thus, now loadings truly, and this is how he spoke to us, now gentlemen, listen to me, you been to me right welcome heartily. He means you are, I welcome all of you heartily, cordially I welcome you all. For by my truth, if that I shall not lie. For by my word, if I shall not lie, I must say, I saw not this year so merry a company. He says, he told all the companions that he has not seen a happier company than the present one in the whole year. I saw not this year so merry a company atones in this her view as is now, at one time in this lodging as is now. Means he says that this is the best company of the year. Fain would I doon your mirth, wist I how, and then he would say, I would gladly make you happy if I knew how, and of a mirth I am right now by thought. And then he goes on saying, and I have just now thought of an amusement, means a device of amusement I have thought of, and this is what he is. In fact, he is taking a promise from every one of them. This is what he will do in the coming lines, that if you adhere to the promise, if you make a promise to me, then every one of you will be happy while going to the Canterbury Tales and while coming back from there. And of a mirth I am right, to doon you see, and it shall cost nothing. And he says, I am going to talk about a device of amusement which will give you pleasure, but it will not cost you anything. Ye gone to Canterbury, God you speed. And then he says that you go to Canterbury, God give you success. The blissful martyr quiet you your meat. May the blessed martyr give you your reward. This is how he would begin. And well I would, as ye gone by the way, and well I know as you go by the way, ye sapen you to tell and to play, you intend to tell tales and to amuse yourselves. For truly comfort ne mirth is known. For truly it is no comfort nor mirth to ride by the way dumb as a stone. He would say, rather it will not be a comfort, neither will it give you any pleasure if you decide to ride the whole way as a dumb person, as dumb as a stone. And therefore will I make you to disport, and therefore he says, I will propose a game for you. And what is that game? As I said erst, and doon you some comfort. As I said before, it will not cost you anything, but it will give you pleasure. And if you like it all by the consent, and if all of you unanimously agree to what I propose, all of you will be happy. For to stand at my judgment, that is, if all of you decide to be guided by the judgment that I have taken, then all of you will be very happy while going to Canterbury and coming back from Canterbury. For to worken as I shall you say, and to do as I shall tell you, tomorrow when ye ride by the way, tomorrow, the poet says, when you ride by the way, now by my father's soul that is deed, I tell you that now by the soul of my father who is dead, but ye be merry, I will give you mim heed. He says that I tell you, if you follow the device that I suggest you, you will certainly be merry. That I can tell you. Now listen to what I tell you. Hold up your horns without more speech. And then he says, now hold up your hands without more speech. Our counsel was not long for to seek. Now the poet says, our decision was not long to seek out, as thought it was not worth to make it wise. It seemed to us it was not worthwhile to deliberate on it, because whatever he had in his mind must be something good, and granted him without more avis. And the poet says that we granted his request without much discussion, and bade him same his word it as him test, and asked him to say his decision as it pleased him. Lordings, quoth he, now hearketh for the best. And then he would say, gentlemen, now listen for the best course of action, but talk it not, I pray you, in disdain. But then he says that I pray you that you will not talk about it in disdain, means you will not make fun of the device of amusement that I propose. This is the point, to speak short and plain. And then he says, That to say, that to speak briefly and clearly, the point is that each of you means every one of you, to short with our way, to shorten our way, what you are going to do is, in this viage, means in this journey, shall tell tales too. Means every one of us will tell two tales while going to Canterbury and two tales while coming back from Canterbury to our means two tales while homeward while taking the homeward journey. To Canterbury ward I mean it's so, and homeward he shall tell other two of adventures that befall him befall, and these tales will be about the adventures that in old times that had happened in the old times, and which of you that that beareth him best of all. And he says, whoever of you who does tell the best tale, that is to say, that telleth in this case means, he says, and he clarifies it further. He says that the person who tells the best tale, tales of best sentence and most solace, the tale of the best sentence and the moral meaning, shall have a supper at our roller coast. Will have a supper at the cost of us all. The means the best taleteller will be awarded. Here in this place, sitting by this post, here in this place, sitting by this post, when that we come again from Canterbury, when we come back from Canterbury and stay in the same inn, that person will be given the supper at the cost of all of us. Means we will pay for that man. Means the best taleteller. When that we come again from Canterbury and for to make you the more money and to make you the more merry, to make you more cheerful, I will myself gladly ride with you. Then he says, to make you more cheerful, I will also ride with you. I will myself gladly with you ride at mine own coast. And he says, I will be riding at my own coast and be your guide, and I shall be your guide also. And whoso will my judgment with say, and whosoever will not accept my judgment shall pay all that we spent by the way. Shall pay all that we have spent by the way. Means on the way, whatever the money that we have spent, the person who withdraws from the judgment will have to pay that amount. And if he vouch soft that it be so, and if you grant that it be so, tell me anon without words more. Tell me straight away. Anon means straight away without more words. And I will early shape me therefore. And I will get ready early for this. This thing was granted, and ours and our oaths is a swore, and this thing proposed by the narrator was granted, proposed by the host was granted, and they took the oath. Every pilgrim took the oath that they will abide by whatever has been narrated, whatever has been told to them. With full glad heart, and prayed him also. They were they were with glad heart, and prayed him also that he would vouchsafe for to do so, that he would consent to do so, and that he would be in our governor. Means that everybody consented that the host would be their governor. He would be guiding them and would be taking the decision on their behalf, and of our tales judge and reporter. And he would also be a judge and the scorekeeper of the tales, and set a supper at a certain price. And he will also set a supper for all of them at a certain price, means at a reasonable price, and we all ruled being at his device. And then all the pilgrims will be ruled by the wishes of the host, in high and low, and thus by own assent in every respect, and unanimously we been accorded to a judgment. We decided to be the part of the judgment that was taken by the the host. We been accorded to his judgment, and thereupon the wind was fat and on. And when all of them decided that, after that, the wine was fetched immediately. We drunken, and to rest went each on. We drank the wine, and each one of us went to rest, without any longer tarrying. Without any longer tarrying, immediately we went, after having taken the wine, we went to take rest. A more when that day began to spring, in the morning when the day began to spring, means when it was the day, uprose our host and was our olar cock. Our host arose, and he was the rooster of a soul. He awakened a soul and gathered us together all in a folk. And then what he did, he gathered us together all in a flock. And forth we riden a little more than pass, and forth we rode at little more than a walk unto the watering of St. Thomas. Unto the watering of St. Thomas, this is a place, you can say a fountain, and there our host began his horse arrest. And there our host stopped his horse and said, Lordings, hearken, if I your test, and said, Gentlemen, listen to me, if it pleases you, he put your forward, and I it your record. You know your judgment, and I remind you of it. If even song and morrow song accord, if what you said last night agrees with what you say this morning, let's let let's say now who shall tell the first tale. Let us see now who shall tell the first tale. Now the poet says, the narrator says that let me remind you that if you adhere to what you promised in the evening yesterday, and if your temper agrees with your promise that you made in the evening yesterday, then let us start the business of telling the tale. Let's say now, who shall tell the first tale? And then he asks, who will tell the first tale? As ever mote I drinken wine or ale, as ever I may drink wine or ale. Whoso be rebel to my judgment, whosoever may be rebel to my judgment shall pay for all that by the way is spent. He will be spending the whole money that we will spend on the way. Now draweth cut, ere that we've had twine. Then he says, now let us draw straws. Let us draw the cut before we depart further from London. He which that hath the shortest shall begin. And he says that the person who has got the shortest tail, we will begin from that person. Sir Knight, quoth he, my master and my lord. He's addressing the knight, he said, my master and lord, now draweth cut, for that is mine accord. Now you draw a cut, for that is my decision. Cometh near, quoth he, my lady prioress. Come nearer. Addressing the lady prioress, he said, come nearer, and you also draw the cut. And you, Sir Clerk, let be your same fastness, and you, Sir Clerk, let be your modesty. Knee studieth not, ye honed to everyone. And study not, but lay hand to everyone. Lay hand to everyone means you are also draw a straw, and then tell the tale accordingly. Put away your modesty. Now look at the respect that the narrator has for the clerk, because he belonged to the intellectual class. Knee studieth not, lay hold to everyone, unknown to draw in every white began, and then every person began straight away to draw, and shortly for to tell as it was, and shortly to tell you as it was, were it by a venture or short or cast, were it by chance or destiny or luck. He's making use of all the three words, which are very significant in life: chance, destiny, or luck. The truth is this: the cut fell to the night. The soth means the truth is this, that the draw fell to the night, of which full blithe and glide was every white, for which everyone was very happy and glad. And till he most his tale, he was resound, and he must tell his tale as was reasonable, means as was agreed upon, by forward and by compassion, by our previous promise and by formal agreement, as ye had heard that what needeth words more, as you have heard what more words are needed, what more words are needed. And when this good man saw that it was so, and when this good man saw that it was so, as he that wise was and obedient, like one who was wise and obedient, to keep his forward by his free assent, to keep his agreement by the free assent. He said, Sin, I shall begin the game. He said, Since I must begin the game, what welcome be the cut, a goddess name. He said, I welcome the draw in the name of the god. Now let us write and hearken to what I say. Now let us write, and all of you listen to what I say. And with that word we ride forth our way. The poet says then that it was with this word that we rode forth on our way, and he began with right a merry cheer. And he began truly with a merry demeanour, his tale unknown and sad as ye may hear. To tell his tale straight away, and and he to tell you the tale that he had spoken. Now you see how he has set a background to the tales that were being told by these pilgrims. And here the prologue comes to an end. Now, when I read prologue to the Canterbury Tales, what impresses me most is that how the poet, by depicting the 30 characters, has brought into focus almost every prominent section of the society. Even the section like the cook and the shipman and the other mercantile class, which were gaining prominence during the 14th century England. Now, the another thing that I forgot to talk about, the language that he makes use of. Before Chaucer, English was not supposed to be an appropriate language for writing poetry. He therefore he has he decided to mold English on the pattern of poetic writing, and thereby I can say with confidence that he has succeeded in doing a great job. Tomorrow, when I talk about his style and narration, I would be talking to you more about these devices. But until then, goodbye, take care, have a nice day. Thank you so much.